All right, today we're going to dig into a question that's actually, one of the most fundamental on the planet. Where does the stuff we eat, I mean the actual substance of plants, where does it really come from?
So let's just dive right in. I want you to think about the last thing you ate. Seriously, where did that food really come from? And I mean, before it was in a package, before it was on a store shelf. Okay, so for most things, your brain probably jumps to, farms, maybe factories, and then the grocery store, right? But what about something like maple syrup? If you trace that all the way back to its source, where does it begin? Well, you end up right here, at a maple tree. Pure maple syrup comes directly from its sap. It's not a fruit, it's not from the leaves, it's literally the tree's own circulating fluid, kind of like its blood.
And here's something that might surprise you. We all picture this thick, brown, gooey syrup, right? But the sap that actually comes out of the tree, it's a clear, watery liquid. It looks just like water, and it's only a little bit sweet. That transformation from sap to syrup is, well, it's pretty dramatic.
So this little discovery about maple syrup, it actually kind of cracks open a much, much bigger question. It really gets you thinking, what exactly is inside the plants we eat? And maybe more importantly, how in the world did it get there? If you start looking at the nutritional labels for foods that are 100% from plants, you start to see a pattern. Take maple syrup, it's almost pure carbs. But then you look at other plants, like avocados or beans, and they're just packed with fats and proteins too. The takeaway is that they're all made of these really complex molecules. So, scientists have a name for these things: carbohydrates, proteins, fats. They call them food molecules, and they are absolutely essential. They are the building blocks that all living things, you and me included, use for energy and to, grow.
Okay, and this is where we hit a massive puzzle. See, for us, getting these food molecules is pretty straightforward, right? We eat. But plants don't eat. I mean, they don't have mouths. So that brings us to the big, crucial question. If plants are just jam-packed with these complex food molecules, but they don't eat them, then where on earth are they coming from? Okay, the best way to tackle a mystery like this is to build a simple model. Let's try to list everything we think we know a plant needs to survive. What are the basic inputs to what we could call the plant system?
Okay, first things first, we start with the plant. Let's just think of it as a little factory, right? It's got roots down in the ground and leaves up in the air. All right, input number one. This one's a total no-brainer: water. We all know plants need water. They suck it up from the soil through their roots. So let's add that to our model. Next up, another obvious one: sunlight. I mean, you can't grow plants in a dark closet, right? So light is clearly a vital input, and the plant soaks it up mostly through its leaves.
And finally, let's talk about the soil itself. We know plants are drawing up minerals and other nutrients through their roots, the kind of stuff we might add with fertilizer. So yeah, this definitely seems like a key input.
Okay, so there's our working model. We've got water, sunlight, and soil going in. But here's the thing. Does this simple model really explain how a plant creates all that complex stuff, all those food molecules that we know are inside it?
Let's just lay it all out nice and clear. Our inputs are water, that's a molecule, H2O, sunlight, that's pure energy, and soil, which gives the plant some minerals. And this is exactly where the problem becomes crystal clear. See, food molecules aren't just an idea. They're actual physical things, built from atoms. A lot of atoms. Just one tiny sugar molecule has 24 atoms all packed together. An entire plant? We're talking trillions and trillions of them.
And if you break down what these food molecules are actually made of, you find it's mostly three things: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These three elements, they make up the vast, vast majority of a plant's actual physical weight. Okay, so now look back at our list of inputs. Water, H2O, that gives us hydrogen and oxygen. Great, that's 2 out of 3. But where does all the carbon come from? We're talking about an enormous amount of carbon. It's the main building block of the plant, and it's just completely missing from our model.
Well, it can't be the sunlight, right? That's energy, not actual stuff. And it can't be the soil. I mean, sure, the soil has tiny amounts of minerals, but there's no way it has enough raw material to build an entire tree. The mass, the physical stuff, it has to be coming from somewhere else.
And this forces us to run right into a fundamental law of the universe, conservation of mass. You simply cannot make something out of nothing.
Which leaves us with this one profound, hanging question. If the bulk of a plant is made of carbon, and we know it doesn't come from the water or the soil, then where does all that stuff actually come from? The answer? Well, it's as invisible as it is surprising. It comes from the air. The carbon comes from the carbon dioxide gas that plants breathe in. They literally, and I mean literally, build themselves out of thin air. And once you realize that, it changes everything about how you see the world.